He sat in the corner of the cafe, calmly sipping his coffee, when everything changed because of one red hat. A police officer decided to teach him a lesson, issuing a humiliating ticket and clearly savoring the moment. But little did he know this ordinary citizen was someone who could decide the fate of his career. What happened next shocked everyone who witnessed the scene. Let's start from the beginning. It was a crisp Monday morning in downtown Springfield when 38-year-old Andrew Sullivan, a well-dressed man with a calm demeanor, parked his sleek black sedan at a metered spot outside a bustling cafe. Adjusting his red MAGA cap in the rearview mirror, he gave himself a quick nod. To Andrew, it was more than a hat. It was a symbol of his steadfast beliefs. He wasn't looking for trouble, just a moment of peace before heading to the courthouse where his reputation as a state prosecutor preceded him. The cafe was alive with the hum of conversations and the rich aroma of fresh coffee. Andrew settled into a corner table, sipping an espresso while scrolling through his phone. It was business as usual until Officer Greg Benson walked in. Greg, a stocky man in his early 40s with a perpetual scowl, was known around town for his strict and sometimes overly assertive enforcement of the law. The sight of Andrew's hat made Greg's jaw tighten. He saw it as more than an accessory. To him, it was a provocation. Greg walked past Andrew, his eyes narrowing as he glanced at the hat. Andrew noticed, but gave a polite nod, choosing to focus on his coffee. However, Greg wasn't one to let things slide. After a moment's hesitation, he turned and approached Andrew's table. "Excuse me," Greg said, his tone sharp. "Are you aware that your vehicle is parked in a restricted zone?" Andrew looked up, confused. "Restricted? The sign says it's public parking." "I'm the law here," Greg replied curtly. "And that hat of yours? It's making people uncomfortable." Andrew's brows furrowed slightly, but he remained calm. "Officer, I'm not breaking any laws, just enjoying my coffee." Greg's patience thinned. "Move the car or I'll ticket it. Your choice." Andrew handed over his ID without protest. Greg scribbled out a ticket with a dramatic flourish and handed it over. "Have a nice day, Mr. Sullivan," Greg sneered, walking out of the cafe with exaggerated authority. Andrew pocketed the ticket and returned to his coffee, his expression unreadable. Trouble was brewing, but Greg had no idea what he had set in motion. Later that morning, Greg returned to the police station, recounting the encounter with a smug grin to his junior colleagues. He painted Andrew as a smug troublemaker, relishing the small victory. While some officers chuckled, others exchanged uneasy glances, sensing Greg's actions might have crossed a line. Unbeknownst to Greg, Andrew was at the courthouse, deftly handling a case that showcased his sharp mind and fair approach. To Andrew, the ticket was a minor annoyance in a busy day, but in the police station the seeds of a larger issue were being planted. Greg's superior, Captain Laura Hayes, overheard the retelling and frowned. Known for her no-nonsense leadership, Laura cut an imposing figure. "Benson," she called, her voice firm. "Did you just say Andrew Sullivan?" Greg turned, nonchalant. "Yeah? Why?" Laura's face darkened. "Andrew Sullivan is the state prosecutor. You just ticketed the guy who could make or break your career." Greg's confidence faltered, his smug grin fading into a look of realization. The room fell silent, the weight of Laura's words sinking in. The following day, Andrew arrived at the police station. His demeanor was calm, but his presence caused a stir. He politely requested a meeting with Captain Hayes, who summoned Greg to join them. Greg entered the room hesitantly, beads of sweat forming on his brow. Andrew placed the ticket on the desk and spoke evenly. "Captain Hayes, I'm not here to escalate the issue. I'm here to discuss an incident that reflects poorly on this department." Greg shifted uncomfortably in his seat, but Andrew continued, addressing Laura directly. Officer Benson's actions weren't illegal, but they were unprofessional. It's not about the hat or the ticket. It's about impartiality and respect. Laura nodded, her expression serious. Mr. Sullivan, I assure you this will be addressed. Andrew turned to Greg, his gaze steady. Officer Benson, the law serves everyone equally. Bias has no place in law enforcement. I hope you'll remember that moving forward. Greg mumbled an apology, his earlier bravado completely gone. As Andrew left the station, he carried himself with the quiet confidence of a man who had made his point without unnecessary force. Word of the incident spread quickly through the station and beyond. Captain Hayes implemented mandatory training on impartiality and professionalism for the entire department, using Greg's actions as a cautionary tale. For Andrew, the incident served as a reminder of the importance of standing firm without escalating conflicts. His measured approach earned him further respect among colleagues and the community. People saw him not just as a prosecutor, but as a man of integrity who practiced what he preached. Months later, Andrew attended a community outreach event. To his surprise, Greg approached him, looking sheepish but determined. Mr. Sullivan, I owe you an apology. I let my personal views cloud my judgment. It won't happen again. Andrew shook his hand, a small smile breaking his stoic expression. Apology accepted, officer. We're all here to serve the same community after all. That day, both men walked away with a deeper understanding of their roles and responsibilities. Andrew's calm resolve had turned a minor act of bias into a powerful lesson on fairness, leaving Springfield and its people a little better for it.